Queen Celestia screamed as the magical barrier rushed through her entire body, then into her mind, lighting her nerves on fire like the sun was forced into her brain. In seconds, the white alicorn's temperature rose to levels that weren't comfortable. Sweat broke out on her brow. Her mane and tail fell flat, losing their glow. The pain grew intensely. The fire burned hotter. The queen felt her screams die off. That is, until Starlight's screams filled her near-dying hearing. Ones of pure terror that the Queen of Equestria was familiar with, but hadn't heard in a long time. 1,000 years, perhaps, if she wanted to go further. Defiance filled the queen's mind. Adrenaline coursed through her veins. The will to live and fight for the innocent life caught in the crossfire made fire erupt in her horn. Queen Celestia struggled to flare her wings, but they flopped uselessly on her back. Her magic sparkled with heat and desperation that a queen would have for their subjects. Their ponies. Nothing but a single weak spark. One that wouldn't help her in this situation until it was necessary. It took much longer than expected for the Queen of Equestria to regain consciousness. The magical stress on her mind had to completely disappear before she could wake up. But the second the white alicorn regained her senses and opened her eyes, the horrifying sight of a white alicorn with orange armor and fire for a mane and tail made the adrenaline in her veins wake up. "Wakey, wakey!" Daybreaker said in a mocking sing-song tone, her wings fluttering to keep her airborne as she smiled down at her prey. A fresh wave of panic ran through the alicorn, and in seconds, she was moving in response to that. Or, at least, she tried to, but she soon realized that she was bound to what felt like a stone table by red-hot chains that burned when she dared make the slightest bit of movement. Another wave of panic ran through Celestia's mind and body that the Queen of the Sun knew she had to suppress. Otherwise, the chains would burn her snow-white skin. A harsh lesson to learn that Celestia wished she didn't have to. The sound of Daybreaker's laughter snapped Queen Celestia's attention to her. Her ears pulled back against her head. The fire alicorn was hovering above her. The ends of the fire-red chains attached to Celestia's limbs now detached from the table. Her horn glowed. A magical aura of deep red that almost looked like crimson blood in the darkness encasing the chains, causing them to move and haul Celestia into the air. The queen yelped in surprise and pain as the metal dug into her skin from both the movement of herself and the chains. The alicorn's wings flared and then flapped, trying to loosen the feelings of pain. Surprisingly, Daybreaker didn't protest against this, giving the other white alicorn enough confidence to flare her magic to try to escape the chains that bound her. Except, magic wouldn't come. Maybe a little yellow spark, but no magical aura that would later turn into a teleportation spell. The queen's eyes widened in fear, one of her shackled hooves reaching out for her long white horn. A ring that was the same color as Daybreaker's helmet was fastened onto her horn, with a red gem that glowed whenever the alicorn queen tried to use her magic. Celestia's white coat turned an even paler color, if such a thing was possible, as her mind began to put the pieces together, and slowly came to the realization that she was trapped with the psycho, who was the opposite of the kind and beautiful Queen Celestia, with no magic, no way to escape, and no way to aid Starlight against her former younger sister, Nightmare Moon. Starlight felt her fears skyrocket as the Queen of Equestria and the fire alicorn vanished into the dark sky, never to be seen again. Her eyes were wide, her legs shook violently, and her mane and tail looked more disheveled than usual. However, She had bigger concerns on her hooves, as the floor was disappearing beneath her, and Nightmare Moon was still in her sights. The Midnight Alicorn looked surprised, yet smug at the same time at the chain of events, her horn lighting the same blue-green aura at the unicorn. If it was possible, Starlight's eyes widened even more, her own horn lighting in an instant. Nightmare Moon snarled as a ball of magic formed at the end of her horn, then fired at the purple-pinkish unicorn. Starlight gasped, her horn lighting even brighter till the night sky was an aqua color. Her reaction time was far faster than any unicorn mare her age, as Starlight was able to cast her spell and dodge the magical blast at the same time. She didn't dare breathe a sigh of relief as the Midnight Alicorn was charging straight at her. Quick thinking was the only thing that saved Starlight at that moment, as she was terrified from the oncoming attack from the opposing Dark Queen of the Night. But she managed to get her magic to work and land on a teleportation spell, being the first thing her frantic mind could land on. A flash of aqua and Starlight appeared a few feet away from Nightmare Moon, her magic keeping her hovering far above the endless night sky. Starlight had no idea where the Queen of the Night had gone, as she frantically tried to think of a way she could save Celestia and stop what she had created. Stopping Nightmare Moon was obviously the first thing on her list, but how was she gonna do it? Magical force? Yeah, right, like that was going to happen. Her taking down the literal embodiment and harbinger of darkness and nightmares. Sure, Starlight was magically talented and strong enough to take on Twilight Sparkle, even though the latter was an Alicorn princess. But even the most talented unicorns were no matches for the embodiments of the sun and moon. Even all of Equestria if she wanted to go that far. She had to find a way to get out of this nightmare hell and alert Princess Luna about the situation. Starlight had no idea if the cutie mark swapped princess would be able to do anything in the dream realm. But having another Alicorn on her side to help out her eldest sister before the unicorn's fire Alicorn nightmare ended their beloved queen would help their odds. Except, how was Starlight going to reach the princess when her mind was trapped in a dream and possibly unable to wake up? Sure, Starlight had no idea if Nightmare Moon had any control of the dream realm like Princess Luna did. But if the purplish pink unicorn could use her magic, then it was safe to assume that she didn't. Star had no idea why, but Princess Twilight Sparkle's pupil had no time to waste, for the dreaded Alicorn was streaking straight at her, horn blazing with magic. A flash of aqua brought the unicorn several feet away from Nightmare Moon, giving her plenty of time to flare her horn, pouring all her magic and might into this single spell. From deep within the darkness, a teal light shines into being. Princess Luna, the Queen of the Night, blinked open her blue-green eyes. Her face twitched in confusion, her horn lighting up in Celestia's usual golden glow to better see in the darkness. As she did, the teal light seemed to perk up and dart towards her. Princess Luna felt a sharp gasp pass her muzzle, her hooves taking her a few paces back, unsure of whether or not the thing was dangerous. However, she paused when the voice of a familiar unicorn called out to her. "Starlight?"